Good morning and welcome to the Splash Live, Greater West Bloomfield's only local morning show, giving you exclusive access into people, businesses, and events in our community. I'm your host, Maddie. We are live daily, weekdays at 9:30. Happy Friday, everybody. It's going to be a great weekend ahead. But before we dive into today's show, every week we highlight someone, an educator, student, business, or organization from the Greater West Bloomfield community going above and beyond. If you would like to submit an entry for someone, you can scan the QR code on the screen, fill out the Google form with the person's name, their contact information, and reasons why that you think you should be recognized for the Person of the Week. Let's go look at some of the events happening in West Bloomfield, in the Greater West Bloomfield community. This upcoming Sunday, the Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society is hosting one of their special open houses this Sunday, February 13th from 1 to 4 p.m. at the Orchard Lake Museum. You can learn about the Toy Hall of Fame from Sue Griffer, play with some vintage games and toys. You can enjoy the newly reopened Orchard Lake Museum with new exhibits. The permanent exhibits interpret a local area, history, and culture. The West Bloomfield Township Public Library also has started their virtual programming that include a variety of events for all ages. The library has concluded their events for this week. We have some great events coming up next week. You can register for now. Next Monday, the registration opens at 9 a.m. for their Library on the Go Heart Valentine's event. They will also be having a 7 p.m. film discussion series on the film Sherlock Jr. On Tuesday, they have their 9:30 a.m. and 11 a.m. virtual Positively Preschool courses, and at 7 p.m. they will be having another author, Paul Vachon, on to talk about his virtual talk about the aspects of the human dimension that shaped Detroit's automotive industry, and their talk about his book, Becoming the Motor City, a timeline of Detroit's auto industry. If you would like to register for any of these events, you can do so by going to the West Bloomfield Township Public Library website. In their events calendar page, you can click on the event of your choice and register through there. The West Bloomfield Township Public Library also has those fantastic tender topic and literacy kits that you can rent out through youth services. If you're either looking to enhance your child's literacy or teach them some of those tender topics, you can contact the library to schedule a time to rent out a kit of your choice. Our last event we want to look at is the West Bloomfield Parks event. They're working with the West Bloomfield Diversity Task Force to bring new free events to celebrate Black History Month. This upcoming Saturday, they have their Love Yourself Wellness While Black event for ages 16 and up on Saturday, February 12th. This is from 9 until 11:30 a.m. At this event, you can come celebrate both Black History and Heart Health Month with an event that will fuel your heart, mind, and soul. This includes a doctor's roundtable discussion on heart disease, hypertension, and nutrition. They will also be having free trials of yoga, Zumba, and dance lessons. And you can also sample some healthy heart treats such as smoothies after the discussion. West Bloomfield Parks also is hosting another Black History Month event this month on Saturday, February 26th from 10 until 2 p.m. at the Orchard Mall. This will be their Black Expo. For any of these events, you can head over to the West Bloomfield Parks website to register. If you have an event here that you would like us to feature on the Splash Live, you can send us a message on our social media pages at Civic Center TV and Facebook at Civic Center TV 15. Coming up, I'll be talking with Suzanne Levine. She is the Executive Director for the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce. But before that, I was lucky enough to be able to attend the West Bloomfield High School signing day and talk with some of the stellar student athletes that signed their national letter of intent. Although they're looking to head off to play the sport that they love in college, I asked them to reflect a little bit about their time at West Bloomfield High School and how their sport impacted them. Let's go check out what they had to say. West Bloomfield High School is the perfect place to send your kid to get a great education, but also to play on fantastic sports teams. West Bloomfield Signing Day had 12 athletes signed to colleges to play the sport that they're passionate about. We got to talk to them a little bit about their experience at West Bloomfield High School.
It's a different experience when you know you go into the season, you know you might not win that many games, but you really take pride in getting better as a team. And you see the little increments you make, and you see how much you've grown from week to week, and that fulfills you way more than winning any championship could.
So like playing basketball, I always loved basketball since I was younger, and I just grew to love it even more. And playing here at West Bloomfield has really impacted me a lot, especially the bonds that I've created. And the coaches are very loving, and they want to make sure that you succeed at the next level.
My favorite thing about West Bloomfield is that from team, it just feels like a family. I know my first year on varsity, I was really nervous, but I had great people, great seniors who just took me in, and it was really great.
That's why I chose it. My experience, basically, we won a state championship junior year, so that was a very great memory that I'll always hold forever. And we always had a great run. We never was a team that got out early. You know, we always finished strong, basically. So, yeah.
Running track at West Bloomfield has been an amazing experience for me. I have become all-region, all-state, all-county, freshman local county champion, and I have enjoyed my teammates by breaking records with them. I love all of my coaches. They've trained me to be the best that I can be.
Sophomore year came, got my feet wet a little bit on varsity, played a lot still, and nothing really serious happened. And junior year, tore my ACL, came back, tore the other one, and I really thought football wasn't going to be a thing for me, but then senior year came around, I came back and had the best season of my life, and I never really would have thought that football would have taken me to the place that it's taken me so far.
Now that I'm here, thankful to my mom and my teammates, and a lot of specific group of coaches, they really helped me a lot. My counselor, Ms. Becker-Novich, my mom, and it was just the fact that they never let me stay down. And a year ago, me and my mom would think I was gonna have to go to trade school, and now with the grace of luck that them all keep pushing me, I'm now sitting here with a full academic sports and academic scholarship. Just to do two sports that a few years ago, I would never think I'd be here for. And just to really realize that I'm here now is just an awesome opportunity. I can't thank my mom enough for everything that's been for me.
Playing basketball here was very exciting. Coming my freshman year, that was like my first year starting, so I had a lot to catch up and I had a lot of learning to do, but as I got older and more experience, the game just came to me and it was very fun playing at WB.
Congratulations to all those student athletes who signed their national letter of intent, and good luck next year playing the sport that you love. Reporting for the Splash Live, I'm Maddie Muschin. Congratulations to all those student athletes who signed this week, and good luck in continuing your athletic career in college. We know that you'll do great. Later on, we'll be looking at our Person of the Week and how they have worked hand in hand with the West Bloomfield Diversity Task Force to create educational events to celebrate Black History Month. But before that, we'll be joined by Suzanne Levine, Executive Director for the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce. All that and more after this short break.
We'll be right back with the Splash Live.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. What about those barbecues you plan in detail for your family? Or your daughter's first costume party? It was out of this world. The same way you plan each detail for those moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Protecting your family is the best plan you can make.
And now, back to the Splash Live.
Welcome back to the Splash Live. I'm Maddie Muschin. It's now time to talk with the Executive Director for the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce, Suzanne Levine. Suzanne has held this position since the August of 2012 and has worked diligently to support the West Bloomfield community here for the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce. Suzanne, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Good morning on this, the start of the Super Bowl party weekend.
Yes, exactly. Suzanne, you guys have some of those great programs for the Chamber of Commerce. One of those programs is the Women Inspiration Network, other known as WIN. Can you tell us a little bit about that network and how it's helping women in our community?
Yes, that's great. The WIN, I love acronyms because it's easy to remember. We created that several years ago because we found there was a need in the community for women, and it's not exclusive to women. Certainly any man can, join in and listen to some of the information and advice, but there was a need for women to have sort of a specific issues addressed to them. So we created it, and it's been great. It's usually the fourth Thursday of every month. We used to hold them at West Bloomfield Library, but because of the pandemic, obviously we had to pivot like everyone else. So right now they're still virtual. We're hoping to go back in person, but we've had some really great speakers, and I'm really excited about the upcoming one on Thursday, February 24th.
And Suzanne, before we talk about that one that's coming up, can you tell us a little bit about the past events that you guys have had for the virtual programming, and a little bit about some of those issues and advice that your speakers have talked about there?
Well, as you know, we do have other different great networking events to give advice. We have our Connect with an Expert, our big business innovation generator, and of course our senior resource group. But the WIN, some of the speakers have been motivational speakers on finance, on specific health issues that are endemic to women. And that's why we've really tried to kind of sort of carry it out, how to be in a room with men and have your voice heard. So there's just quite a few topics that we're still looking to address, and we're always looking for great speakers. So if anyone out there has a great topic they'd like us to address, or even if they know someone that would be a fabulous speaker, you do not have to be a chamber member to be a speaker.
Suzanne, let's talk a little bit about that new networking event coming up on the 24th. Can you tell us about the topic that will be discussed there, and a little bit about the speaker, and if someone wants to go and register for that Women Inspiration Network event, how they can do so?
Absolutely. So one of our community partners is Jewish Federation Services, JFS, and it turns out that the week of February 21st through the 27th, I believe, they're doing an entire Zoom series on what they call disordered eating. I guess they've kind of changed the verbiage a little bit. Not to make it seem like a disorder. It used to be eating disorders, but they kind of, change it. And I know that, women everywhere, and even men we all have weight issues, whether, it's because of social media telling us we have to look a certain way. But we know that even today, there's fat shaming, and then there's the reverse of fat shaming. As you see what happened with Adele when she lost all her weight, she got a lot of pushback, negative pushback. So I think we have to do better as a society to allow people to, be what they need to be and not put so much pressure on them to look a certain way. I know that they've tried to do some of that in magazines with, plus size models, but we still have a long way to go. And we know that especially during the pandemic, a lot of our mental health issues have come to the forefront, and certain bulimia, anorexia, body dysmorphia, these are real issues, and they can lead to major health issues, as well as, unfortunately, in some cases like Karen Carpenter, death. So it's a really important topic. We're so excited. We have Deanie Peterson. She's still working on two great social worker doctors to address this. It'll be February 24th at 8:30 to 9:30, and anyone can join in. I'm waiting for some more information before I put it on our website, but certainly anyone can register once it goes on there. The more the merrier, and it will be on our Facebook Live. So I think it's just a really important topic that it's kind of a hidden topic. Women don't necessarily want to talk about their, body issues, but especially for teens, moms and parents of teens need to really address this before it becomes something that is a major health crisis in their teens' lives.
Suzanne, as we wrap up here, is there any other information that you want to share about that talk happening on February 24th, or anything else happening in the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce happening this month?
Yes, we're really excited that we're really starting to transition to a little more in-person events. We're going to be reinstituting our Cup of Connections, where we're going to be going into local businesses from 8 to 9 o'clock. Grab a cup of coffee, get to meet your local business. We're going to be at Royal Dental on March 11th. It's always the second Friday of every month. So I'll have to rush back to be able to be interviewed. Maybe we can even do some of them from where these businesses are, to give it a different flavor. But people can always go to our website, westbloomfieldchamber.com. They can email me at wbloomfieldchamber@gmail.com. We always welcome different ideas, and hopefully we'll be back at the library for in-person events soon.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for joining us this morning, Suzanne. It's always a pleasure to talk to you on Friday mornings.
Well, thank you so much, because this is, as I always reiterate, this is such an important community event that you do. You sponsor all of our events. You help with the library and the parks and the township and the chamber. So we're very grateful for all that you do for us.
Oh, well, we appreciate it. Thank you, Suzanne.
Right, and go Matt Stafford.
Yes. Once again, I was joined by Suzanne Levine. She's Executive Director for the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce, talking about their event that they're having this upcoming Thursday. It's going to be on February 24th. It's now time to look at our Person of the Week. This person has worked as the Recreation Supervisor for West Bloomfield Parks, making sure that the residents can enjoy all of the parks and recreation facilities that they have to offer. She also has worked to create fun and educational events this month to celebrate Black history. Let's go check out why we named Kelly Heyer our Person of the Week.
Since 2015, Kelly Heyer has been the Recreation Superintendent at West Bloomfield Parks. With several appearances on The Splash, we've had the chance to ask Kelly what events she's constructed for the community as we find ourselves in the midst of Black History Month.
So we have partnered up with community members, Township Hall, and the West Bloomfield Library to create a diversity task force. And this task force has plans 4 events for the month of February. So the first one is Saturday, February 5th, and there's 2 parts to this. It is a Black History mobile museum. And if you would like just to walk through the museum, it's going to be set up at the library from noon to 3 p.m. on Saturday, February 5th. We have a special lecture. There's only a few spots left, and that will start at at 10 a.m. to noon. The next one up is going to be our events. It is health focused. It is at Connect, and that is going to be Saturday, February 12th, and that is a Love Yourself Wellness Well Black event. And this is going to be an interactive event, and the other component is going to be an active component where you're going to be able to have a demonstration in Zumba. We have a virtual event on Wednesday, February 16th, and that is with Major Bill Barnett and the Tuskegee Airmen. And then lastly, at Orchard Mall, in the center of Orchard Mall, on Saturday, February 26th. That is the Black Expo. And again, this is a creation by the Diversity Task Force, and it's a really cool event that's coming together.
Ensuring all members of the West Bloomfield community feel represented, Kelly has also been at the forefront of maintaining inclusion and diversity, such as creating the Diversity Task Force.
This was an idea that one of our park commissioners, Vincent Kirkwood, came up with last year and approached our department and said, what are we doing for to work on that and to work towards diversity, equity, inclusion, and simultaneously what programming do we have for Black History Month? So we said, well, let's not stop the work there. And the idea was, can we broaden what we're focusing on to be a diversity task force?
Kelly's hard work and devotion to her community is why she is our Person of the Week.
Thank you so much to Kelly Heyer for all the work that she is doing in West Bloomfield to make sure that we are creating fun and educational events to celebrate the entire month of Black History Month here in February. If you want to nominate someone for our Person of the Week, we're going to put up our QR code again. To nominate someone, you can go ahead and scan the QR code, fill out the short Google form with the person's name, some reasons why you think they should be recognized, and some contact information for them if you think of someone that we should be recognized here on the Splash Live for our Person of the Week. We're going to take a short break, but when we get back, we're going to be talking with Nichole Ferguson. She's a lifelong West Bloomfield resident and a health and wellness coach. We're going to talk about food, how you can balance it in your life, and how to deal with negativity surrounding food. All that and more after this short break.
We'll be right back with the Splash Live.
In the face of COVID-19, staying healthy is important. And now the same is true as we face the flu. Influenza has the potential to infect millions, putting lives and the healthcare system at risk. Fortunately, it's easy to protect yourself. The flu vaccine is safe and effective, and with COVID-19 still spreading, it's essential. To see how you can hit this virus head on, visit michigan.gov/flu. Can I ask you a question? Why do you want to get the COVID-19 vaccine?
I don't like getting sick. The virus will die. It will be easy to not catch it. Keep my family safe and keep playing soccer. Because I love being vaccinated.
What's your hope for everyone?
I hope everybody gets the vaccine to keep safe and strong. Be happy, having fun everywhere. Everyone stay safe and hope you get the vaccine.
Is she good?
Now, back to the Splash Live.
Welcome back to the Splash Live. I'm your host, Maddie Muschin. We're now joined by Nichole Ferguson. She's a lifetime West Bloomfield resident and health and wellness coach. We're going to talk a little bit about food and how you can balance it in your life. Nichole, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me. It's such a pleasure.
Nichole, so you are a foodie and also a very talented chef. Let's talk a little bit about how one can enjoy food while also keeping a balance and a positive mindset about food in their life.
Well, I would definitely say as a younger adult, I thought I could work my way out of my diet, and I started exercising a lot, and I became a personal trainer and a fitness trainer, and would teach a bunch of classes and do a bunch of exercise to outrun a bad diet. And now I'm a little older, a little bit more seasoned. It's a lot easier just to add a little bit of balance and a little bit of variation. And being a foodie, I've taken a turn down other styles of cooking, other types of ingredients, some Asian ingredients, some Haitian ingredients, and just some different ways to mix up what I eat, and just incorporating a lot more leafy greens and making sure that the proteins are proportional with what they should be instead of these huge portions that we get nowadays. So definitely trying to find balance and not really denying yourself of much, but having things in smaller portions is definitely a key.
Nichole, we're heading into a big weekend here for food with the Super Bowl and Valentine's Day. Can you give us some tips or advice into how we can balance between the stuff that we love, the chocolate and the dips, and maybe some of those leafy greens, and something that maybe will fuel your body and give it great nutrition?
Well, definitely my strategy for Super Bowl and for Valentine's Day is load up on the veggies before you go. So if you're going out somewhere, just crudité is definitely everyone's friend. We could eat carrots and celery and a lot of water, a lot of water before we go, and then you won't have to deny yourself of those wings and the chilies and the hot dogs and all the other stuff.
And Nichole, if someone was struggling with food and a negative mindset about food, you talked a little bit about, restricting yourself or over-exercising. What advice would you give to someone who is struggling with the balance of food in their life right now?
Oh gosh, it's a good question, and it's something that I deal with on a daily basis. I felt like I have for my entire life. There's more to life than food. A recent quote, I think it was, if I think about it, I'll bring it up later. But if you're struggling with food, then you probably need to reach out to someone for help. And by that, it could be a nutritionist, it could be a personal trainer, it could be a psychologist. I'm hosting a wellness event this weekend at Orchard Mall, and it's through West Bloomfield Parks, and we're doing it for West Bloomfield Parks is sponsoring the Love Yourself healthy event, and we're going to have a myriad of professionals there, including an MD. There's going to be several MDs that are there, and medical professionals, a psychologist. There's just new and different ways that we can move and that we can have fun and that we can incorporate exercise and nutrition into our lives. So there's a lot that we can do and a lot of forms of help that are available. And this is a free event. It's this weekend. You can register through West Bloomfield Parks and Rec. I think it's wbparks.org, and under Black History and Black History Month. And there is help out there, and hopefully we can have more events like this where people can seek out any type of help they need, whether it's motivation, whether it's how to put together their lifestyle on a plate, and whether to, if you need help psychologically. And then medical-wise, we're going to be doing a segment about knowing your numbers and knowing your BMI, knowing your blood pressure, knowing your glucose numbers, your cholesterol numbers, and what those numbers mean. And hopefully by knowing and educating yourself, we can definitely, maybe that might become your motivation to make some changes.
Nichole, as we wrap up here, is there anything else that you wanted to share, either about finding that balance with food or about that event happening this weekend for Black History Month?
Well, the event is just going to be a blast, and I hope West Bloomfield residents will come out and enjoy it and hopefully be motivated. We're going to do, we're going to have goodie bags. We're going to have takeaways. We're going to have different ways we can incorporate nutrition into our diet and different ways to move. We're going to be doing Zumba and hustle, and I'm going to be doing the yoga portion. So there's soft ways to move, there's fun ways to move, there's funky ways to move, and get some nutrition and get some education about being well and hopefully growing older with grace.
Nichole, thank you so much for joining us today. It was a pleasure having you on.
Thanks, Maddie, for having me. I'll talk to you soon.
Yes. Once again, I was joined by Nichole Ferguson. She is a West Bloomfield resident and also a health and wellness coach, going to be at that West Bloomfield Parks event tomorrow. It is the Love Yourself Wellness While Black event, talking about food and also moving. That's going to do it for today's show. Thank you again to Suzanne Levine and Nichole Ferguson for joining me this morning to talk about all the great things happening in Greater West Bloomfield. A special thanks to our Zoom producer, Jared Clark, for coordinating the Zoom and making sure all of our guests joined us. As always, a big thank you to Calvin Brown, our board operator, for making the show possible each and every morning. And thank you as we explored all of the people and events in our Greater West Bloomfield community. As always, you can make sure to tune in live on Civic Center TV on Comcast Channel 15 and AT&T Channel 99, Monday through Friday at 9:30 to catch up on what's going on in our Greater West Bloomfield community. You can also watch our show every morning on My Michigan TV. It's mymytv.com. For all of our friends in Orchard Lake, Sylvan Lake, Keego Harbor, and West Bloomfield, happy Friday, everybody. I'm Maddie Muschin. Thank you for watching The Splash Live.